Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to another uh, topic. So, today we are going to be speaking on security and poverty eradication. And we understand that these two are somehow intertwined. Where there is high level of poverty, there is usually high crime rate. So, you tackle security by tackling poverty. Even in developed countries, if you go to the suburbs or ghettos or where there is uh, more concentration of people living below poverty line, or places that are people of low income, there's usually high crime rate in those areas. So when you sort of identify those places and try to pull people out of poverty, naturally security will be better in those places, and also the bigger cities or the bigger towns or country as it may. But then when you have a country like Nigeria, which is now the poverty capital of the world, even though we have only about 200 and something million people, but because about more than 100 million people are living below poverty lines, then you will have this particular issue with security challenges. Now, there are two types of uh, crimes when it comes to security. If people are on the extreme side, so if they are extremists, which is something that could be ideological, um, then you know that of course that's an ideological sort of issue. Then you're tackling people who are extremists, maybe because of religious affiliations and brainwashing. They probably want to do things without understanding exactly what they are meant to do, and thinking they are doing the right thing. Then that's on one hand. But then there are also people who fall into crime because of poverty, or because of they want to make ends meet, or because they have a burden or they have a challenge either feeding or shelter or whatever. But then so if it's easier to tackle the one of poverty or poverty induced crimes when it comes to security, rather than the ideological ones, because those ones are people who probably know exactly what they are doing, not because they want or they need money, but because they've been orientated to sort of do those kind of things in terms of carrying out some deadly attacks. I'm trying not to use keywords here. So now, when it comes to security, especially like looking at Nigeria, Buhari has issued an apology saying that if he has offended anybody, he's sorry, and he's very unpopular now, even in his state, Castina, because not what we expected of him was what we got in this last 7 years. He was he's a general, so he was a major when he was in the army, and when he was the first president, you would imagine that somebody like that, even the people who are majors, are generals right now, are people who were under him when he was in the military. So they would have given him utmost respect and wanted to do the right thing. So we're expecting that crime, especially security and terrorism, will go down in terms of the rate of attacks, in Nigeria after Buhari became the president in 2015. But the opposite is the case. Things have gotten worse. Even after the election, there's been a lot of killings in southern Kaduna. So now, probably that's why he's apologizing. Nobody knows. But if you are to rate this particular past APC administration, you will rate it, very, very poor. They've not been able to secure the people. A lot of places, children are not allowed or not able to go to school because schools are shut. Because the security agents cannot guarantee safety of those children. And for those actually who attempt to go to school, they get kidnapped. We know the popular Chibok girls, all of them have not been returned. Some of them have, but most of them have not. We know about the popular train attack. A lot of people have paid the ransom and they're released, and some people have not actually been released. So because of all these issues, it might be the reason why he's apologizing. But the last APC administration, headed by President Muhammadu Buhari, has been a major failure, catastrophic failure. The Owo killing, people going into a church and shooting at children, women, and men. It was under the APC administration, and it was really, really bad. And as well as that, the train attacks, I know they're trying to open that train again, those stations, and allow people to start using the services, but they're not able to guarantee the release of everybody there. A lot of people had to pay crimes. And in other countries, in cyber crimes, you are not supposed to be negotiating with terrorists, but because the terrorism in Nigeria is beyond what the eye and imagination can understand, is because it's like the government is playing a bigger role. Because even Aline Dume, who is also the head on the Senate Committee on Security, have said it, that it's looking like there is no will in terms of getting these things done. And sometimes they blame the government for not providing ammunitions or financing the military, but then President Buhari has done well in this regard. He has given them money, he has given military weapons, he has ordered aircraft from America and what have you. Anything the military needed, he has given it to them. But you find out that these people are benefiting, which is the word on the every word out there, is that this government is part of, or people in this government, some people in this government are part of the security challenges. And now you can see the back and forth between President Buhari and Samuel Ortom of Benue State. And then he's saying that the security challenges in Benue is down to the governor. How is it down to the governor? Have they allowed state police in Benue that we don't know about? No. So as a matter of fact, it still fall on the office of the president, not Governor Ortom. Governor Ortom cannot do anything as a governor in Nigeria. The commissioner of police is not answerable to the governor, it's answerable to the IGP, right? And the IGP is under direct control of President Muhammadu Buhari. So when it comes to security, we are doing very poorly because our boots on ground are compromised. There's an issue with the personnel. There's an issue of trust. There's an issue of identifying the key people that you can trust, and people who are in the chain of command, who are able, who mean well to start with. Because it looks like some people are benefiting from the whole insurgency in Nigeria. So we have to find, say for example, if Peter Obi wins his mandate, he needs to find people that can be trusted in the Nigerian army. Because when all these absorbing of or forgiving or repentant Boko Haram members back into the Nigerian military, when that happened, it was a disaster. I don't know who authorized that. I don't know who thought that was the best thing to do. But even when Yar'Adua gave amnesty to Nigerian Deltans, he did not reabsorb them into the Nigerian military. So I don't know how the Boko Haram members were absorbed into the Nigerian military. It was catastrophic, and we're still paying dearly for that, because they are now the eyes and ears of this terrorist group in the military. And so many people have spoken about what is going on in Nigeria. You give intel to police, and before you get there, intel has been given out to the enemies, and if they disappear, they've taken advantage of knowing what you're planning. So we have all this issue. Plus, there is no all these different security apparatus, up to 17 of them in Nigeria, they are all working in silos. There is no collaboration, there is no communication, there is no one-stop for all in terms of let this particular office be the first point of call, and then every other agency will sort of be linked to that, as other countries are practicing. You don't even need to have 17 different security apparatus in the first place. All you need is military and police. Now, in that police, you can have the secret police department, you can have the EFCC as an arm of police, ICPC as arm of police. You can have, and all these people can be under the police. So everybody is police, but then you have your different divisions. Just like in America, you have the SWAT team, you have the forensic, you have the narcotics, you have the civil. There is different sections of the same police. All the people know is that you're a policeman, but they don't know your level, your department, and whatnot, right? So that's what we are supposed to be doing. We need to sort of, I would have proposed that when Peter Obi becomes the president, God willing, merge all these securities into one. They can still maintain their different departments, but let everybody come under one. So everybody is police, have the same database, have the same communication channel, share the same intelligence, and all of them can be police. And the secret police, DSS or whatever, and actually DSS was a decree. DSS was established as a decree in the military era. You see, so constitutionally, DSS actually need to be, and they have been, these things are out in the open, out in the National Assembly. They need to debate on this. DSS need to be debated on, constituted as a democratic process. Decide what name they should be called, because some people are saying DSS is not even legal, right? There's something like Department of State Service. We need to be called Secret Police. I mean, in America, they call it Secret Service, right? So we need to have a proper name for these people. Then SSS as well. You see, anything outside Nigeria, so anything external, anything from the borders up, supposed to fall under the military, right? But anything internal is supposed to fall under the police. And there's supposed to be federal police and then state police. Then outside, they're supposed to be having, everything's supposed to be under the military. And then in the military, then you can have the Navy. In the military, you can have Air Force. In the military, then you can have some special high-level special forces in the military that can do some extremely difficult missions, right? And then in that military, also customs supposed to come under that military in a way, right? Say, for example, you're coming into Nigeria right now. Of course, you meet the custom, and usually they work in tandem with the military. There's always military, and then there's custom. So they're supposed to have the custom under the military as well. So you're supposed to have two major forces, right? So you've got Nigeria, you've got the Nigerian police, you've got the Nigerian army. In the Nigerian army, say for example, this is Nigerian police, this is Nigerian army. In the Nigerian police, they're supposed to handle all internal affairs. In the Nigerian army, handle all the external affairs. Now, in the Nigerian police, have secret police, what is called DSS, right? Have your EFCC, have your ICPC, have your Federal Road Safety Corps, and have other agencies. Instead of having 17, limit them to probably 5 or even 6 or whatever, right? Now, this is the police done. Now, in the army, you're supposed to have everybody under the army. Then you have the normal soldiers. You have the Air Force Department. You have the Navy Department. Then you have the SSS, because they are all external. Okay? Then you can also have custom, because they are checking what is coming into the country. This is how it's supposed to be. Then immigration can also be a division on its own self, or also part of the military, so to speak, because immigration is also looking at external people coming in. And that's how the database is supposed to work. Of course, the database is supposed to be centralized as well, but then at the very more centralized way, the police is supposed to have and share the same database, the army is supposed to have and share the same database. But then when you have in Nigeria currently is that you have about 17 different security apparatus. They don't talk to each other. Everybody wants to prove they are the ones that did this or achieved that. You have the NDCSC or something. I can't remember. There's so many different arms. You've got the different angles and on different agencies, and crime is still on the rise. Okay, Nigeria can boast of 2 of the highest level terrorism index groups in Nigeria, in the world rather. You have the Boko Haram and you have the Fulani headsmen. One country. So that shows our security is really, really poor, really, really bad. So we need to look into these things. But then that's kinetic. That's going trying to stop terrorist attacks and trying to curb the menace in the society and fighting crime. But then there is a non-kinetic force. You don't need boots on ground for this. And that is prevention, preventive measures. And how do you prevent crime? Instead of fighting crime when it has already happened, which is now trying to sort of intervene or stop or try to sort of stop something that is already in motion, if you're able to get intelligence on time. Because one thing I didn't mention in these different arms is the intelligence wing. The intelligence is supposed to sit somewhere in the middle, giving intelligence to both the police and the army. who are the enforcers. Okay, now I'm not saying they're going to take my words for it, but this is what I'm proposing. So my channel is about not just talking about the problems, but trying to profile a solution, so that whoever is in power, whoever comes across these videos that have anybody in power, can help them to understand what to do. Because it seems like they are clueless, and all they are doing is waiting for 4 years to change the next criminal that is going to steal money for them. And they are getting things undone, and we are losing. People are paying the ultimate price, be it police, be it army, be it normal, citizens of the country. So we need to find a way to get it done. So I've discussed about the kinetic. Now let's go to the non-kinetic. The non-kinetic have to do with prevention. All right? And how can we do in prevention? First of all, we need to go through faith. Religion can play a very key role. You cannot rule a people without the clergymen. We have to use the moral institutions, we have to use the imams, we have to use the pastors, the priests, even traditional heads, the monarch. We have to use the kings, we have to use the townships, we have to use the elders in the community to keep talking about the morals. Doing good is good. Don't pay people back evil for evil. Do not kill, do not, steal, do not. All these things help society to be sane. Then we have to promote sports. Things like football. When people are interested in sports, they are happy. We have to promote music, entertainment, movie. Thank God Nigeria is doing extremely well in this aspect. We need to encourage things like that. But the most important one out of all these non-kinetic measures is poverty eradication. No matter how much music you sing, no matter how many movies you produce, no matter how much preaching you preach to people, if they are hungry, they will have to look for somewhere to eat. And when they look, and there is no work, and they see you passing, and you have a fine clothes, they will stop you, beat you, collect your food, and go. That's natural. Survival of the fittest. So we have to find a way to circulate money in the society. We have to create jobs. It's actually the job of the government to create jobs. So they're not telling you to go and tell companies to start hiring people. No. You actually have to go there, create initiatives that will employ hands. Not just bringing money and sharing it and coming to television to come and tell us you are sharing 5,000 naira to millions of people when we don't know who you are sharing the money to. You are simply splitting the money into your family purses, and that's it. So we have to actually develop things that can create jobs for young people to come in and get busy. Agriculture, for example, it's not about calling people to come and say, oh, are you a farmer? Take this money, buy fertilizer. Oh, we are giving you this. No, that's not that's not how it works. Where is our microfinance banks gone? Where are they gone to? We used to have microfinance banks. What are the microfinance banks meant to do? They are meant to give you a smaller amount of money, right? That you don't necessarily need to have a collateral for. That people that probably has been settled newly by the Oga, that probably wants to go and get a new shop, can come and get small money from you and go and pay for a shop and use the money the Oga settled them to buy goods and put there and start life. It is those microfinance banks that a farmer can come and say, okay, last year I was not able to produce much because of a bacteria or virus attacked my crops. This year I'm struggling. I need about a little bit of money to be able to farm again. And hopefully this year's harvest will be more fruitful. It is the microfinance bank that somebody that has a script that want to shoot a movie can come and borrow money to shoot, short-term loans. There are so many private companies, for example, in the UK, that give all these kind of loans, and they will tell you their percentage for interest. But then what we don't have in Nigeria is, first of all, our security is not working. So if somebody steal your money and run away, or you borrow somebody money and are unable to pay, like the one that is going around now in Nigeria called OPE or PAMPE, I don't know what if people have heard about it. It's purely because people can easily miss in the system. You can't trace them, you can't find them, you can't account for them. But had they been, we have a good database. And we just like the whole BVN and everything that we've wasted billions and billions on, all these things we've done to get ID and everything, we should be able to use it, put into use, let people know that if we don't find you, we can go to so and so place and make an arrest, whoever we see there. Get people to be guarantors to these people, but allow the good, well-meaning people that really need this money to be able to get it to start life. So these are the important things we need to do. I'm going to start making my videos short. On popular opinion, people think making it an hour long might hamper some people interested in watching it. So I'm going to make it shorter today. Maybe 30 minutes, maybe 25. But then all I'm trying to say in essence is that for us to get security right, we need to work on our security apparatus. Number one, who are our police? Who are our IGP? What is the recruitment process? Are they people that can be trustworthy? How are we dismissing people who are corrupt? How are we dismissing people who have gone rogue? How is the internal policing, like how do you scrutinize a policeman internally when a complaint is being brought in? Do you understand? I know the public relations for police on Twitter has been doing a good job trying to help the image of police. That's good. It's welcomed. The one in Lagos as well is doing well. I've forgotten his name. Anytime you bring a matter up on social media, they act on it. So fair play to them. They've been doing well in that regard. But then what is very important is we need to educate our police. Our police needs to know the law because they are enforcers of the law. Our policemen need to have minimum of a university degree or HND or OND equivalent. They have to be trained. They have to know how to read and write. They have to know how to read you your rights when they want to arrest you. Not to move or I move you. If you move, I shoot you. I will shoot you, nothing will happen. All those things are very uncivilized. That is the outdated way of controlling people. That's not how to make an arrest. You read people their rights. If they oblige, they follow you. If they resist or if you feel like their crime deserves that they are handcuffed, you handcuff them. Either forward handcuff or backwards. You have to have a database. Put all those things in place so that next time if they offend in another city, it will pull up that this is the second time they're offending. Right? Now, we have to also understand what it means to arrest when somebody is convicted, when somebody is just an accused fellow or an alleged someone. And we have to allow the course of law to play its role. We need to allow people to also have public defendants. We need to actually, it's the right of people that you've arrested to have their own lawyer. If they don't have money to get their own lawyer, you have to provide them public defenders. They're supposed to have voluntary organizations, maybe of people who are just coming out of uni, who want to practice to get experience. They need to serve in this voluntary capacity and help people, defend people. And that's how people do it in other places. The other thing is that we go and pick all this system of government and we don't even practice it properly. So we start from there. Now, people that are in top positions in the police, both commissioners, should be people that have been scrutinized properly. People that you can vouch for. People that are people of high morals and standing. Not because they are rich, not because they are the most experienced. The most experienced does not mean he's the best. The most experienced does not mean he's truthful, he's honest, he has integrity. No. So we need to make sure we look into this. Up until the highest level, which is the IGP, we have to go for people who are true to their name, who actually are patriotic, who have done the right things all their lives. And there are people like that in the police force. So we need to get them in place. And then make sure the academies has to be looked into. You don't treat people with brutality and expect them to be nice to Nigerian citizens. No. You can't be knocking somebody on the head and you say you are training them. You can't be telling somebody to jump like wow and say you are training them. How many criminals can you catch by jumping like wow? Those are brutalities. And that is happening in our police force, in our police academy, in our military schools. No. The whole Western world or civilized world has even gone further from this. They've moved away from using boots on ground for wars and stuff. They are now building robots. They are moving into the stage whereby robots fight each other. They are not going to be using military, because if you watch the world now, some countries has more people in the army than some countries. So it is unfair advantage. It's an unfair advantage that people that have more people in their military, maybe millions in their military, versus countries that are smaller that have thousands in their military. So the whole world has gone from there are types of warfare. Of course, there is cyber warfare, and there is also boots on ground amidst every other thing. But then also, what they are going into now is robotics. So they are using robots, right, that can detect the enemy, shoot the enemy. So if you are shooting metal, you are shooting a robot. It's not a human being that can bleed, because when a soldier is takes a bullet on the front, you have to, other soldiers have to take the person to safety, try and carry out an extraction and everything. So it hampers the progress of the war. But then when people start using robots, that's it. That's the game changer. That's where the world is moving to. So even if you use nuclear weapon, what are you shooting? You're only shooting metals. So the world is moving on. But in Nigeria, we've not even done the basics. Some of us are still using AK-47 that is so outdated a weapon, that even terrorists are using more sophisticated weapons than our police. So we have a big issue. And then the army is not supposed to be interfering in things internally. They're supposed to be watching external. They're supposed to be helping protect the country, making sure people are not infiltrating the borders, coming into Nigeria from land borders. Do you understand? And these are where you have all these illicit drugs coming in. People can literally walk into Nigeria from all the neighboring countries. How many of our military men can speak French, can speak 2 languages? These are strategic things that we're supposed to achieve. So we have all these issues. I'm trying to keep today's videos very short. So we have all these issues, and with the people we have in power, either the people that are suggesting it to them are suggesting, but they don't want to do it, or they don't know what to do, or there is no will to fight, or they are part of the process. Because when a kidnapper catches you and you pay 20 million or 30 million, depending on how much they've billed you, that money is a lot of money. So they make very good money if they catch 5 people and they charge them 20 million. How much is that? That's 100 million. So it's a big industry on its own. So either these people are gaining from it, and that's why there is no will, right, to fight them, or they typically are doing what they can, but then they are getting sabotaged by moles in the security. And one of the biggest challenges that most countries have are corrupt forcemen, either corrupt police or bad cops or military that have gone rogue, right? Now we need to find a mechanism to make sure our servicemen are people that are true to the nation, even if it means let them be sworn an oath every 2 years or so often, or putting them back to training, or when they offend, put them back to training, suspend them, put them back to training, let them understand what to do. Let them write exams. Then you have to talk about their welfare. You have to protect them. Every policeman needs to be insured. Once you're a serviceman, there's supposed to be some benefits you will get. Insurance means if you die in the line of duty, what does your family get? Who takes after your family? We need to guarantee these things so these people will be happy to do the right thing. Because other than that, if you are telling a policeman to go and arrest a Yahoo boy, he comes and meets the Yahoo boy. Yahoo boy offers him what he has not been paid in a whole year. Now it's between him and his conscience. There is no love for country because the country is not looking after him more than the Yahoo boy is looking after him. So we have to get these things correct. Okay? A lot of our policemen are being used as escorts, being used as personal guards. Why are you protecting them? That's an insult on the whole nation. That means this person is a better citizen than you. Because you are poor, I'm not going to protect you. I'm going to protect this person. And some of them are being killed by enemy of those important people that they are going after. And most times, unfortunately, the policemen are the ones that will die first. So we need to find a society or build a society where everybody is secured, less crime, and then you can have more private and public partnership. So, for example, if there's an incident that happens, police always come and ask if you have any information about what happened, come forth and tell us. If it's a people that doesn't like their police or doesn't trust the security agent, you find out that they will not try to help. But then if the people trust what you are doing, know that you are doing the right thing, and know that you're not going to use it against them, they will come up and tell you. But you find out that in Nigeria, even when people witness something evil, they try to keep away. Because sometimes you come out and say, oh, I know what happened. Police will even arrest you that is saying it and say you are the criminal. So we have so many issues, but we need to start from somewhere. And I'm hoping that one day our security apparatus will be better than what it is. And our government will be willing to eradicate poverty, pull people out of poverty, educate people, say they know better. An educated man is less likely to be a criminal or somebody that will be allowed to be groomed to do evil or to become an extremist, because they've been educated. They know better what to do. They know how the world works. But in a place whereby we allow religion to be over our constitution in some places, it sort of defeats the purpose. We are actually counterproductive in that aspect. We're supposed to make the constitution the number one, or if we want to make religion number one, we make religion number one across the whole country. So we know what we are facing. Does that make sense? So I'm hoping that this short video that I'm going to do only 30 minutes. So I'm hoping that this goes a long way. Like I said, I'm trying my best on how to provide solutions rather than talk about just the challenges. If you have more to add, you can add under this video. Thank you so much. Please watch, like and share, and also subscribe to my channel. Thank you, and God bless you. Happy Sunday.